It's Fans Corner. Welcome to it and thank you for making time for us. We are back in the Betway Premiership. We've just watched Marumo Gallants against Mamelodi Sundowns. I almost said Mamelodi Sundowns against Marumo Gallants. It's the other way around. The game taking place at the Dr Petrus Molemela Stadium in Bloemfontein and ending in a 1-1 draw. The spoils are shared at the Dr. Petrus Molemela Stadium, a 1-1 draw. I guess the team that will be happier, the happier of the two teams will definitely be Marumo Gallants. I guess if you look at this, you could easily call it an upset of some sort because of the character of Mamelodi Sundowns and the way they've been doing things over the past couple of seasons. So a point against Mamelodi Sundowns for many teams would feel like a victory, and for them as Sundowns, a point or a draw feels like defeat because they are so used to collecting maximum points over the past couple of seasons, especially against teams such as Marumo Gallants. Not disrespect to Marumo Gallants. Before we go into the game, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. It's Off Air Podcasts on YouTube. And check us out on our socials. We are Fans Corner on TikTok. We're also Fans Corner on Facebook. Just follow us, like our page, and also like our content as well, so that you get to see more of these content. And we appreciate the support that we've been getting, like I said in the video yesterday. Yes, let's get into the game. This was more like a carbon copy of the first game of the season. If you remember the first game of the season, Mamelodi Sundowns against Chippa United. I want to get it right. Chippa United against Mamelodi Sundowns, because it's a game that took place at the Chippa United home ground. Quite similar to that particular game. If you look at the statistics, they're very, very. It's like a carbon copy of what happened at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. Sundowns scoring first and Chippa United coming to equalize. Same thing happening with the Marumo Gallants game, with Sundowns scoring first and Marumo Gallants coming to equalize. Both goals were scored in the first half of the game, so we expected a number of goals. I didn't expect that the second half would actually have 0 goals to report, but that's what happened. But I guess probably the technical team of Marumo Gallants would have watched the previous games of Mamelodi Sundowns and they felt that they stood a chance. You see, the thing is with Sundowns and the way they are, everyone knows, even against the strongest teams in the world, even against the likes of Borussia Dortmund, we saw them in the Club World Cup. One thing you are guaranteed, come rain, come sunshine, is that Mamelodi Sundowns will dominate the ball. They will have most of the ball. It doesn't matter who they play against. Okay, we've seen them on the world stage. The exact same thing. They will keep the ball. So when you get your chance with the ball, you have to be very smart as to what you do with the ball. I think this is one of the things that I've picked up between these two games, that I'm saying these are carbon copies of each other. The game between Chippa United and Mamelodi Sundowns at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, and this game at the Dr. Petrus Molemela Stadium, very, very similar. In terms of the stats even, they're very, very similar. One of the things that these teams that they played, when they played Mamelodi Sundowns, I think they realized that you probably have to be very intentional with what you do with the ball when you have it, because you are not going to have it for long. The statistics here for the entire game, the ball position, Mamelodi Sundowns 72% of the ball for the entire game, 28% for Marumo Gallants. Pretty much similar between the first half and the second half, actually. A little bit better for Marumo Gallants in the second half, but yeah, let's just focus on the entire match. 72% of the ball was with Mamelodi Sundowns and 28% of the ball was with Marumo Gallants. So they knew that they're probably going to get a very small fraction of the ball, Marumo Gallants. So they had to make sure that whenever they have the ball, they try to make it count. And one of the things that they've done is what we saw Chippa United doing on the first game, and many people actually spoke about it. I'm one of those people who also spoke about it and said, I haven't seen a team take on Mamelodi Sundowns in local football. I haven't seen a team take on Mamelodi Sundowns. What they did with that 28% of their ball, they took on Mamelodi Sundowns with that 28%. Said, in this 21% or 22% that we have with the 28% that we have with the ball, let's go to them. And what they do it with pace. And what we're starting to see is that Sundowns are not very comfortable with teams that come to them with pace, because they are a team that is very structured and very calculating with their moves and how they deal with them. So when it becomes a little bit chaotic in terms of the movement, I think Sundowns are not really settled. They become unsettled a little bit. And we saw that even before Sundowns scored their first goal, we saw Marumo Gallants coming from the right-hand side with such pace, and a one-on-one, almost a one-on-one between the Mamelodi Sundowns goalkeeper, Ronald Williams. I can't remember the player, the Marumo Gallants player, who fractions, centimeters away from opening the score, because of what they did is just what they wanted to do was to say, when we have the ball, let's go to them, let's get at them. Obviously, with a team such as Mamelodi Sundowns, you have to be very careful, because one mistake, you find yourself losing the ball in a very dangerous position, and they'll definitely punish you. That's Mamelodi Sundowns, we all know that. So, but without risks, there are no rewards. But they took their risk, Marumo Gallants, and they got a reward. It's a point. Yes, they did not win, but I mean, how many people expect Marumo Gallants to beat Mamelodi Sundowns? We're not trying to belittle or to disrespect Marumo Gallants, but we're talking about the strength that is Mamelodi Sundowns. We're talking about a team here that is feared all over the continent. Not many teams can take a point from Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm pretty sure they'll go home happy, Marumo Gallants, with the point that they got. And I think the pace thing that I'm talking about is really what makes it a little bit tricky for Sundowns, especially when the team has the ball for that 28% of the time. This is so uncharacteristic of Sundowns. It's really uncharacteristic of Sundowns that in the first 7 games of the season, they've already dropped points in 3. That's almost half. Half of 7 is 3.5. So 3 games out of the 7 games that Sundowns have played, they've dropped points. They've dropped points against Chippa United. They've dropped points against Kaizer Chiefs. Now they've dropped points against Marumo Gallants. It's uncharacteristic of Mamelodi Sundowns. If we had to check the Betway Premiership of last season, how it ended, I think Sundowns they didn't drop so many points. You'd remember they set records in the season before that. Even last season they set other records as well in terms of goal scoring and also the number of goals that were conceded. So it's uncharacteristic of Mamelodi Sundowns. So it's a question that we have to then ask, because we know I speak a lot about Sundowns because of how they are a special team. We all know that. You don't have to be a Sundowns supporter. I'm a Kaizer Chiefs supporter, but we have to acknowledge that they are a special team. It takes a very special team to win the league, the number of times consecutively the way Sundowns have been doing it. They are a special team. So now you have to then ask the question, is what's happening right now, what has been happening over the past 7 games, a symbol of, or a sign of Sundowns, the standard at Sundowns dropped, or is it the other Premier League teams have upped their game? Because it can only one of the the two are not necessarily mutually exclusive, but I'm saying probably there's one that will be too evident to those of you who are able to watch the game with a different eye than the rest of us. Some of us are just watching the game to enjoy it. There are some of you who are able to analyze these things better than other people. I'm just asking this question, throwing it out there. Is what's happening now, because we don't expect Sundowns. Sundowns are the kind of team that would go 7 out of 7. Okay, I think last season they went 7 out of 7, if I'm not mistaken. Was it last season or the season before that? I remember doing a video of them 7 out of 7. And I think it was the season before that. I think I was even at the stadium. They had played against Pirates, if I'm not. I was at Orlando Stadium. They had asked one of the supporters 7 out of 7. Yeah, I did a video like that. If I find it, I'll probably attach it here. When they had won 7 games out of 7, out of the first 7, 21 points. Now they've just played their 7th game and they are only on 16 Is it 16 points? Okay, yes, it's they're currently on 15 points, just behind Skukuna United, who are on 16 points. So the question is it the drop in terms of the number of points collected in the first 7 games? Can it be attributed to a Sundowns that has become a little bit weaker, or should it be attributed to the teams that they've played that have become perhaps stronger than they were? Because these are teams that Sundowns used to get 3 points against. If you remember, last season they collected 6 points against the likes of Kaizer Chiefs, and now they've already dropped points against the teams that they are used to collecting 6 points against. So that's a question I'd like to ask you there. It's uncharacteristic of Mamelodi Sundowns. And where does this put Cardoso at? Because we know Mamelodi Sundowns, they are very demanding in terms of the results from. Yes, we know they are more demanding when it comes to the Champions League, because that's where they want to find themselves doing better. The league itself, they've won it enough. It can never be enough, but I'm saying they've won it a number of times. They're probably not as worried as they would be if this was a Champions League game, because we saw what they did with Marumo when he showed signs of struggling in the Champions League. So that's a question that I'd like to throw at you out there. You'll answer us on our comment on the comments section wherever you are watching, whichever platform you're watching this video from. But yeah, we are where we are now. It's Mamelodi Sundowns against Marumo Gallants that have just ended the game by 1 goal apiece, which puts Mamelodi Sundowns at position number 2, just behind Skukuna United at 15 points, and Skukuna United are at 16 points, and they've played 1 game more than Skukuna United. All right, thank you for your time. This has been Fans Corner. We meet again in the next one.